Control G. Aha, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, we have things going. Alright, you can see me now. Sorry, we're starting over. Hey guys, Mr. Hatt here, and today we're going to be studying for my finals. I have a packet, not necessarily due, but guess what? It's all going to be on the test tomorrow. So, I'm going to do this 8-page packet, and you guys are going to watch me do it. Ha! Okay, let's begin. Right after I make sure that you guys can freaking see me. At the moment, you guys cannot see me, which is not good, as you can see right here. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. It is okay. It'll pop out in a second, right? Okay. 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 There we go. Okay. So now you guys can see me. So, we Gucci. Alright. Here we go. So, I'm gonna tell you guys that we're ready to go. Okay, here we go. Alright, so what we're going to be studying for. I already mentioned it to you, but I'm gonna tell you again. We're gonna be studying for my history final, and I have a packet I gotta fill out. It's just a bunch of definitions, but I'm gonna post this on YouTube. Hello, you're interrupting a video. Get out. Get out.
It's dinner time.
Well, that's too bad because I got to study for finals.
And you're recording?
Yeah, I'm live. I'm streaming it.
Wait, so people can see you right now?
Yeah. So you guys should not be in here. Okay. So we're gonna begin. Okay, I need you guys to get out now.
Okay. What's going on that? You're adopted.
Okay.
You're adopted. You lived in Africa.
Boy, stop. Okay. Here we go! So first we're going to be looking up Nazi Germany. Nazi Germany. Enter. Yeah, characteristics. Alright. We're going to read some of this. The term Nazi is derived from National Socialist German Workers' Party, founded by Hitler in post-World War I. A bunch of other words that I don't need to really know. Alright. Totalitarian. It was a totalitarian. Ha, funny. You guys are probably going to have so much fun on the stream here. Alright. Next is we're gonna have. It was a one party, so it was a dictatorship. That's what I got from that. And I know that 44HY is probably really excited that we're talking about Nazism right now, but I think that's all we really need to know, just the government-wise kind of stuff. All right, so let's see here. Moving on to the next one. Actually, I know this. This is the cash and carry program. It's where we lended weapons to people or other countries to help them out, but we ended up backfiring because reasons, you know, didn't work out. Once again, tell me if you guys can't see me or hear my voice, because that would be great. Those two girls, one was my sister and one was her friend, and they were telling me that I had to go eat dinner. So, who needs food when you have finals to study for? Am I right? Okay. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and write that down, the cash carry program. I'm going to leave that chat up in the corner just in case. I got to have some viewer interaction or people will leave, and that's not good. Okay. So let me just write this down. Be right back. Don't leave. I know you're about to click the leave button. Don't do it. I need the views. Please, just leave it running in the background or something. My channel's dying. I need help. Okay. But it didn't work out. Alright, now we need to look up the Axis powers. Yeah, let me check on my stream real quick. Cool, 2 people are watching. That's neat, if you get what I'm saying. Okay. So, who were the Axis powers? Axis powers, German, Italy, and Japan are the big 3. You know, sometimes I wonder how I get good grades in school, because my study habits are just trash. Yeah. And all these people were trying to invade Poland. That's not what happened. Maybe, I don't know. I think Nazism was after World War I, but I don't know, because I'm trash at history. This is why this is the only final I'm really putting my soul into. Because once this is over, I can just get on with my life. Alright. Next, we're moving on to the DDay Invasion. Alright, now we're gonna look at this. Let's take a look-see. Ooh, look, it's Lurgen Way. Welcome to the thing if you're still here. I don't think you're here. So, this is a blast from the past, I know, but I'm about to comment and say hi. Ooh. You have no idea why I said that until now, but there's not really a reason I said it. You're probably like, what the heck? Okay, moving on. DDay Invasion. That was when... Okay, we don't have Adobe Flash. During World War II, at the Battle of Normandy, which lasted from June 1990, blah 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 blah. Also, wait, if you guys want music, I can play some music in the background, but it's gonna be like study music. So, and I don't know if you guys will be able to hear me good enough or not, but you know, you do you. I mean, by that I mean just tell me if you want to or not. I believe this is when we invaded Axis. No, it's when we invaded France to get out of Germany control. Yeah, that one. The Bataan Death March. Sounds fun. Sign me up. There we go. Ah, now I just... Why? I typed in the Bataan Death March, not the music song Death March. Hit me with that Wikipedia article, fam. Dun 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 dun. Alright. This is a lot of stuff that let's not look at the Wikipedia article. Let's look at the history.com version because it's 4 sentences long. Oh yeah, this makes sense. U.S. troops forced to march 65 miles in poor condition. Alright, and the next one we have to do is island hopping. And that was the strategic way that U.S. tried to fight Japan. They went from island to island, conquering each one until they could be victorious. And we ended up winning because we're the best. And we also had nuclear warfare. So we may have bombed the Japanese, but we got what we wanted. So, ta-da! Okay, island hopping. It's where U.S. strategy to defeat Japan. You know what? Instead of doing the things that I do know, I'm just gonna skim through this whole freaking packet and look at the things that I don't know. So for that, I'm still gonna tell you guys what I do know, but you know, I'm just not going to spend my time on this whole thing because I'm gonna be up past midnight if I have to do all these pages. The Manhattan Project was they made the nukes and it was secret. In the Holocaust, the Jews did not have a good time in the Holocaust. And we're moving on from that. The Red Scare was in America where they thought everyone was a communist, so a lot of people got negatively affected by that, which is not good. Joseph McCarthy and the House of Un-American Activities Committee. So McCarthyism was something that McCarthy made, obviously, and it was to get communist spies out of the country, but it's the thing that caused the whole Red Scare in the first place was McCarthy making like false claims on like these famous people and how they were communist spies, but it turns out that they really weren't, and it was just a big fuss over nothing, and a lot of Americans got laid off their jobs because of communism or suspected communism. The U.S. economy after World War II. Let's look that up. What happened to the U.S. economy after World War II? I said World War I. Alright, let's take a look. Oh, yeah, okay, so instead of we were in the Great Depression during World War I, or around that time after, I don't know, but then after World War II, because we made all our businesses converted to actually, like, I think some of the car companies reverted to, like, making tanks, and that really boosted their business, which boosted the economy. So, therefore, there's a big boost, the opposite of depression, which I don't know what it's called. The opposite of depression, I don't know. But it launched everything. I think it even caused the baby boom. And that moves us on to the next thing. So, the rise of teenage culture. So, it's where all the teenagers went out and they listened to these rebellious songs that, like Elvis, for example, or another famous singer from that time, I don't know, but like they would seem to be really rebellious and like conformity. Yeah, conformity. That word. GI Bill. Let's take a look at what the GI Bill is, because I remember that was pretty important. Oh no. I wonder what the chat looks like. Let me check it real quick. Oh, hey, you know what, guys? You know what? Get your friends on here. We're all going to study together. Because I'm already, like, I've only one page in. You can freaking bring your friends in, and we can all have a study party, man. So I'll just go through this entire packet. I'll tell you what I know, and I'll tell you what I don't know. And we're going to go look up what I don't know. And you guys can even post the comments. So, well, it doesn't even matter, because by the time... you don't, whatever. But still, get your friends, bring them onto this stream. We're studying for finals. We're doing it. By the way, this class is U.S. history. So if you're like a freaking 8th grader or like a freaking not 9th grader and you're not taking U.S. history, then you could still be here. Invite your 9th grade friends that have U.S. history. And then we're finna have a freaking study party right here on Mr. Hatt's channel. Alright, moving on. Making sure my stream is still up and running. Also, please let me know if you guys can still hear me. Yeah, okay, moving on. GI Bill. GI Bill. I believe it was something about veterans. Yeah. Yeah, so it's where all the veterans, they came home from World War II. They got funded and they got accepted into all these colleges, and that they just received government support when they got home. In opposition to like what it was before, which was like they came home and they're like, hey, good job, you served in the war, now get back to life, open a donut shop or something. Now they're saying, oh, go to college, get a degree or whatever, you know. It really changed the way veterans were treated when they got home. Of course, they weren't really treated good when they got home from the Vietnam War, but still. Alright, moving on from the GI Bill, the Federal Highway Act. Now, I think I know what this is. It's just they built a bunch of highways in the U.S., but I really would like to know more. So we're going to know. We're going to learn. Federal Highway Act. I'm going to lose my voice by the end of today, guaranteed. Alright, the Federal Aid Highway Act of 1956, popularity, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So it was to get... the economy was growing, so they needed a better way to transport goods rather than railroad, which was the old-fashioned way. Because of these highways, they could get where they needed to go faster, which also boosted the economy, which put the U.S. in a pretty good economical situation at that time. So the Federal Highway Act acted as a extra little boost to the economy during that time. Although it did put us in it did cost a lot of money. I don't know if it put us in debt or not, but I assume that it probably started the giant debt that our country has today. Moving on, the rise of the suburbs. So, around this time was when the baby boom occurred, and in fact that's like two things ahead than where we are right now. But the big thing that was going on here was conformity. Everyone wanted to have everything else that their neighbors had, you know, like TV, microwaves, all that stuff. You know, I don't think microwaves were here yet, but everyone wanted what their neighbor had, which was interesting because at this time people had a lot of money to spare because of, you know, the whole economy thing. So the TV and radio, I don't know if the radio was invented around this time or not. I think the TV was just invented, and because of conformity, it like just spread through America like a tidal wave because everyone wanted what their neighbor had, and if their neighbor had a TV, well, I want a TV. So they all buy TVs. Therefore, we all sit in front of TVs, 2017, and yeah, it's great. So, rise of the suburbs, by the way. Moving on to that. Sorry, I started talking about conformity, but that's a big part of this whole era. So, rise of the suburbs, yes. Let me think about this for a second. So in America, you know, there was the baby boom, and all the people that had children needed a place to live. Obviously. Okay, no. Let me start over. So, veterans come home, they have the GI Bill. They get better education. Therefore, they have enough money to buy a house. That's the starting point, I believe. So after that, this is actually what causes the baby boom, is that they have these, you know, blueprint houses. Maybe in like one suburb they'll have like 4 different types of houses. But they built it to a certain code where it's easy to build. You can build a lot of them pretty fast. And that really started off the baby boom, which is because, you know, if there's going to be a lot of time at home, you get the idea. Anyways, they have a stable environment, so families decide to have kids. Therefore, everyone basically has kids. And that kind of starts us off with the baby boom. And we're just going to skip the baby boom because I just talked about it a lot. Technically, we didn't skip it. Advancements in medicine during this time. I'm assuming we had to have an advancement because of all the new kids. Maybe we started studying vaccines and all that kind of good stuff. Yeah. Alright, moving on. U.S. response to Sputnik. Now, Sputnik, I believe, was the Russian space thing that they sent into space. Let me see. Sputnik. I believe it was the... Yeah. Russia or Soviet Union, whatever you want to call it. They sent Sputnik 1 into space, and it was the first thing that anyone's ever sent into space. So technically they beat us on that front, but later on we did get the upper hand and actually sent a man to the moon. Someone has come in. Hello. We have pizza. And a gallon of Sprite. Okay, moving on. Alright. U.S. We talked about the Sputnik. So what we really got out of this was I think from this we founded NASA, which is what we that's how we got into space and into all that stuff. So yeah, moving on. Impact of the television. Think about it. There could be news programs broadcasted right to the home. I mean, it just made such a big impact on the society in America. And of course, the conformity thing I talked about. It just caused it caused everyone to have it in their home. So there's a news channel that wants to go on, they can reach literally almost everyone in America. And at that time they only had black and white TV, but still that's a lot of information going fast. Better than a newspaper, which takes a couple days to publish, rather than they can just do live news, or maybe not live yet, but still, it's pretty impressive, the impact that the television makes to the American home. Lastly, for this unit, I believe, is rock and roll. And I don't really... Okay, so rock and roll, it's a type of music genre, obviously, that arose during this era. And it took, the themes of jazz and some other things, and it put it together, rock and roll, guitar, all that kind of stuff. And it was, part of the whole teenager movement thing that was forming. So yeah, that was that. So this next unit is called Cold War Abroad. Now this is going to be a bit different because I don't know a lot of this stuff. You can already tell by looking at some of these. So we're going to learn together. And if I still have people watching the stream, I'm going to be so phenomenally impressed. Let me check. Hey, who's watching the stream? Alright. Mario. There were radios in World War II. Okay. Tyler. I don't know who. Oh. Sorry, I can't play Rainbow Six Siege right now. But, well, no, it's because I'm studying for finals right now. I wonder if anyone here is actually listening to what I'm saying and getting information out of it. Because, I mean, I'm getting you guys some pretty good info. You guys just have to sit back and listen while I do all the work. Alright, sorry man, I'm studying for finals. And, oh wow, that pizza's looking really good. I'm just going to take a quick little sip, cracking a cold one open with the boys. Sorry I messed that one up. But, sorry. Don't call me fat. I'm just beautiful. On the inside. Okay. Okay, so first thing we have here is the Yalta Conference. Let me check that people are watching the stream real quick, because I need to know if they are. Yes! 3 people watching. You guys are so good. Okay, moving on. The Yalta Conference. Let's figure out what that crap was all about. I believe it's where they split Germany or something. I don't know. Where'd my pencil go? There it is. Wake up, eat. No, let's go to history.com. I love their summaries so much. Okay. February 1945, Yalta Conference was the second wartime meeting of British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, Soviet Premier Joseph Stalin, and U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt. During this conference, the 3 leaders agreed to demand Germany's unconditional surrender and began plans for a post-war world. Stalin also agreed to permit free elections in Eastern Europe and to enter the Asian War against Japan, for which he promised to return the lands lost to Japan in the Russo-Japanese War of 1904-5. Although most of these arguments were initially kept secret, revelations of conference particulars became controversial after Soviet-American wartime cooperation degenerated in the Cold War. I just read a bunch of words. Okay, So Yalta Conference then. It was... excuse me, sorry. Just drank a bunch of Sprite. Yalta Conference was a meeting in the... It was the second wartime meeting of British... Yeah, okay, well... It was a meeting sometime. And during this meeting, Britain, US, and Russia all ganged up on Japan because of the Japan-American War that was going on at this time. And that eventually, because the Soviets didn't really help us out, it kind of put us into this Cold War thing. Oh, according to this website it did. I can't really remember. Anyways, so... Yeah, that's on the Yalta Conference. It was just a meeting that they agreed to have an alliance against Japan. So, moving on, the Cold War. So it's just the Cold War in general, I think, is what it's talking about. Definition of the Cold War is... Sorry, I need a second to collect my thoughts. I've been talking for like 20 minutes straight. Cold War between US and Russia, or Soviet Union, as it's called nowadays. No, back then. Yeah. So, it was between US and Russia, and the real beef between us was that, well, it was a lot of stuff, really. But like, it was from like the nuclear warfare. We hadn't, both of us, US and Soviet Union combined, I think could destroy the world like 5 times over or something. Maybe it was 20. I don't even know. It was powerful, the weapons they had. So it was always just kind of, there was some, cold tensions. And the reason it was called the Cold War was because there was never really a shot fired for this war. Like, there were no battles, no anything. It was just tension between US and Soviet Union for that type of thing. The differences between US and the Soviet Union. So, as you probably know, the Soviet Union at the time favored communism, and US was not communism. We were anti-communism. We were like, oh, that Red Scare, no fam, I don't want a part of that crap. So, that was the biggest difference, was our economies. We were like democratic, and they were communist. So, this put a problem because we, earlier, we were like, oh yeah, no, we got to get rid of communism. What's it called? Yeah. So the big thing was the containment for U.S. We're trying to contain communism in this small area, and that really leads us into a bunch of trouble, including the Vietnam War, which we'll get to eventually, I believe. Alright, the United Nations, let's take a look-see. I believe it was formed, let's take a look. So, the whole goal of the United Nations was to try to promote world peace, and the problem with that is that when there's people who are kind of in a cold war against each other, and you have them both in chairs at the top of this, United Nations, that kind of poses a problem. Well, so let's say U.S. and Soviet Union, let's say there's a problem somewhere, and, Soviet Union profits from this problem, or whatever, but U.S. really, maybe it has to do with communism. So, to prevent the spread of communism, America might say, oh yeah, send troops in there, we got to get rid of it. But the Soviet Union might say something like, oh, you know what, they'll be good, they'll work themselves out, but really in the back of their mind they know, yeah, this is going to go our way in the end. So the real problem here is that nothing ever really gets done because the tensions between the two countries and the disagreements, different governments, all that, it just, they disvote on each other every single time. And that's why United Nations didn't really work at that time. And I believe the United Nations was proposed by... No, never mind. That was something else. Start of the... actually, let me take a break just for like a minute or two, because my brain is kind of a bit tired. I'm going to take a sip of this tiny little Sprite can. Okay, we're going to take a quick looky at my stream. Oh my gosh, we have 5 people watching. Holy freaking cow! This is actually kind of cool. Okay, so sorry. Let me make sure everything's popping and locking like it should. Yeah. So why do we keep on saying yeah and so I don't know. I hope you guys don't mind. I haven't had dinner yet. I'm gonna take a quick little 5-minute break and eat some pizza. It's Domino's, not sponsored, but it's pretty good. If you want to, you can come back in like 5 minutes and we'll be resuming by then. Or you can just watch me eat and be that kind of guy. So yeah, sorry I haven't been posting recently, by the way. And I feel bad if you're still watching. But, you know, it's all good. Don't mind the screaming in the background. That's just people outside dying. You decided... What? Okay. That guy's commented something peculiar. We've decided to destroy the Soviet Union. Bombings begin in 5 minutes. 1. The above unintended on the air. What in tarnation? I don't know what you're saying. Let me just finish this piece. And we'll be back on track. Okay, so if you need some more information on the Cold War, that guy has given you a quick summary in the chat. Shout out to him. So yeah. Hold on. Alright, we're back. So, the next place we are at is the start of the arms race. And the arms race, let me just get a quick definition so I know that my facts are correct and I'm not leading you guys astray. Arms race. Definition. Okay. So another tension during this Cold War was that, well, it was the arms race, really. Sorry, give me a second. And in this arms race, the Soviet Union and America were constantly trying to come up with better weapons to say, ha, we have control over you. We have the better weapons. And then Soviet Union would come right back and say, ha, no, we have something better. And then it just comes back up. And, you know, this thing, it just causes, excuse me. Oh, this goes. It just causes this whole thing. And we actually do get a lot of technological advances, including nuclear warfare. But that's really what went down from the arms race. So, the Berlin Wall. Berlin Wall is what we're moving on to next. And that is a particular story that I'm going to have to look up, because I don't know the whole story. But, here's the thing. What I do know is that Germany was split. I believe it was... Actually, no. Germany was split. It was to share between Britain, France, America, and Soviet Union. But because the capital, you know, is important, because if you control the capital, you know, you control the whole country. They split the Berlin, you know, the capital, into 4 different parts. And so, and really it split into 4, but it was really 2 main parts. It was West and East Berlin. And they decided to put a wall there for a reason that I cannot remember. But I think it was because they didn't want it intermingling with the other countries. Communism, Democrat, separate. So they wanted to keep that separate, is the big thing. And later on, it was destroyed by the people, but it was a really long time afterwards. But the big thing was that it prevented people from crossing over from west to east or east to west Berlin, which was pretty big. Next, we have the Korean War. Hold on, let me check. See how we're going here. Korean War. Actually, let's take a pause. Look at my stream. 4 people are watching. I give that a proud thumbs up. No, 5 people watching now. You guys are the best. Guys, what the heck? You're so freaking good. Okay. Let's check the chat. Holy cow. Okay. Gosh, freaking dang it. Okay. That guy, it's time to stop. I understand you wanna help us out, but the Cold War the Cold War was like 3 units ago. Catch up with the times, man. Okay. It's time to stop. It's time to stop. I gotta let you know. I forgot to say time. It's time to stop, dang it. Stop it! I'm sorry, guys. You spam in the chat. Hi, Trenton Glover. It's nice to see you. It's been a while. Alright, so we're back down here. Gosh, dang it. Okay. And what was I searching at? What were we on? The Korean War. I really am pretty proud of. Okay, I know it doesn't sound like much, but five people watching is a record for me. Believe it or not. The Korean War. Yeah, let's take it. Oh, not in Wikipedia. I freaking hate the long. Okay. I like this. Okay. So I'm gonna read this on my own, and I'll give you guys a summary in just a second. Alright. Okay, I got it. So the Korean War. At this point, North Korea and South Korea had split apart into 2. And the reason being communism. Because communism brings about a lot of world conflict around this time, this era, where America's trying to contain it. And, you know, there's the domino effect you might know of. Oh, dang it. 1 second. Domino effect you might know of. That really just causes, someone needs to have like a counter in the bottom left corner of the screen. It'd probably like take up the whole page by the end, but see, I just, okay. Korean War. Split into 2 because of communism. You know, because communism and Democrat don't get along. They're like oil and water, they don't mix unless you have like a chemical reaction. But that's different. America enters on South Korean side because, you know, America's trying to contain communism because the domino effect that I was talking about like a minute ago that I never finished. It was like that one world, or as they build down like the countries in the Middle East or whatever that place was, that the communism gets stronger and they can like spread to different continents, which is really concerning America because in the end they even almost tempt to Mexico turning communism. So they enter South Korea and they end up pushing North Korea up pretty dang freaking far, but they were only supposed to push back to the 38th parallel. So the guy got in trouble who was directing the army and pushed them back up to China, which endangered our troops. And he was actually fired, but he didn't go to jail. He was just fired because the people really liked him. But in July of 1953, the Korean War came to an end, and it was really a pointless war because 5 million soldiers and civilians lost their lives, and really all that we got out of it was that North Korea and South Korea are split, and they still are split today. You probably know. And North Korea is being kind of a jerk right now. They're like, hey, I have nuclear weapons now. We have some here, like, let's launch one right now. Oh, it didn't work. Yeah, no, they didn't work. Their recent one is not working. So moving on from the Korean War, brinkmanship. I have no freaking idea what brinkmanship is. Oh, I remember what that is. Okay, so Soviet Union. This is during the Cold War, and brinksmanship is where you're kind of going to the brink means to the edge. So you're almost let me word this differently. America and the Soviet Union were using brinkmanship to threaten each other during the Cold War. And what they were doing was, oh, I have this nuclear weapon. I'm going to use it on you if you don't be good. Or in Soviet Union's case, be bad because communism is bad. So, I mean, really, this is another thing that caused the arms race. Because the brinkmanship, it's just like they're threatening each other, they're throwing like death threats, all that type of jazz or whatever. And neither of us likes it. And that leads us into another thing, Cuban Missile Crisis. Now I kind of remember most of this. It was where America had a problem. And the problem was that in Cuba, which was close to America, relatively, they had the Soviet Union had a nuclear missile site set up. Now, this is bad news for America because they technically had the upper hand because they have a nuclear test site a launch site basically in Turkey. So the tension just continues to build up, and eventually we get the Korean War and all that stuff. No, not the Korean War, sorry. The Cuban Missile Crisis resolved, and we take our nukes out of Turkey, and they take theirs out of Cuba. So, really, it just adds to the Cold War and stuff. And another thing on this page is containment. I've already told you. The U.S. is trying to contain communism because it's like the exact opposite of Democrat. And as we know, communism, it sounds really good on paper, but when you actually put it into motion, no one wants to do their part. So it all just goes downhill and economic crash and all that crap. So you don't want communism. Might sound good on paper. Alright. We just turned the page. I'm going to take a quick little break. Check on the stream. Alright. Still have 5 people watching. You guys are the best. Dang. Okay. Okay. Oh. Boomerang XP, you left. Okay, President Lime. Welcome to the stream. You need a cold one to get your mind on track. Fam, I already got you. Let's go. Cracking open a cold one with myself. I don't have any boys right now. Alright. Hello, Aaron Neiman from school. It's nice. It's nice to have you on the stream. Hopefully you're here to learn about knowledge, because that's what I know I'm learning about right now. Alright, so we have about maybe a minute left to break. I still have 2 slices of pizzas left, but I just had 9 cookies earlier, so I'm not too hungry. I'm not fat, I'm beautiful on the inside. Moving on. Alright, so now we're moving on to the Truman Doctrine, which I have no freaking idea. So, I mean, I've heard of it. I remember learning about it. Let's go to... I love the history. It's... Oh, well, this isn't it. But History.com, not sponsored, but still, like, freaking... They give the best descriptions on things. And it's so simple. Alright, let me read through this real quick so I can give you guys a good little excerpt. Excuse me. So what I'm getting out of this so far, I remember, so this was after the Iron Curtain speech, which was made by Winston Churchill, and what he talked about was how there was a giant Iron Curtain, and it divided good from bad, and really the whole Iron Curtain idea was that there were two sides. One was the Soviet side. It had Soviet made their own like little their little club that technically other people didn't have a choice to join, just because they were right next to Soviet Union. They were like, hey, you know what? You're part of the club. And at first they probably thought, oh yeah, that's cool. We get to be part of a bigger thing. But really, Soviet Union's probably just using these people these countries to their own profit to help them gain power, which is really kind of what we're trying to do, but not gain power, more like overcome communism. So it's one side is trying to gain power, and the other side is trying to hold the people back and not gain power as evil, horrible dictators. So right now, we're supporting some of the countries under Soviet control, and we're giving reinforcements to Greece or Greek. No, it's either Greece or Greek. I don't know how you say it when you're referring it to like a country, but Greece and Turkey, they've been providing support to, but it looks like right now, I still need to finish this, but I don't necessarily truly know, so I'm gonna read through this real quick. Okay, so really that was it. You know, we sent $400 million, which added to our country's debt, in assistance to the two nations, and Congress approved it. So really, this whole thing it's just containment. That's a big thing about this time period. It's big on containment and all that type of stuff. So yeah, there's that. And I believe the Marshall Plan is similar to this. So we're going to move on to the Marshall Plan. So I don't have to explain the whole thing, but Wikipedia, why do I keep on clicking on that? I mean, it's not bad. It's just that history.com gives such a so much simple. The Marshall Plan, known as European blah blah blah. So really, this went out to Europe as a whole, and it's a recovery from the World War II that happened. So, yeah, it's just money that we sent out, added to a nation's debt, but it's okay, because we are helping other people. And now, we're going to move on over to NATO. Now, I don't really know what that is, so we're going to learn something new. North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So that's what that is. NATO. We're going to take a look at what NATO is. Come on. History.com. There we go. Oh, I love the short definitions. Okay. Let's take a look-see here. So it looks like this was the thing. Okay, sorry. That was really okay. So, you can't just have two sides to, this kind of war that's going on without there being some sort of document or something that bonds them all together. Well, NATO, or NATO, whatever you want to call it, kind of bonded all the against communism people together, and the next thing that it's asking for is Warsaw Pact, which is what the Soviet Union got the other countries to sign to get them on their side. So really, it's just NATO was the thing that bonded all of us together, and Warsaw was what bonded the Soviet and Soviet-controlled countries together. So I'm gonna take a quick little break because that was a lot of knowledge. We still have 5 people watching. You guys are so great. Like, oh my gosh. Okay, we're gonna take a look-see at the comments. What's popping over there? Oh, is that Butterman 444? Ooh, beautiful. Hold on. Oh wow. We have a lot of stuff. Let me review. Da 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 da. Hey, if you have a problem, talk to Mr. Hatt. Lightly salted. Why do you do this to me? Okay, well, President Lime's real name is Blake Bishop. Don't know his middle name. It's probably cringier than mine, which is Wayne. Let's take a look. See here. You saying my content is crap, Butterman 444? I believe you're on my content. I don't know what this. I don't know. Whatever. Okay. Well, Mr. Hatt, this is a little depressing. Well, you know what? We can't please everyone. But look who has 5 people watching, and who's not even streaming. You're watching the live stream of someone freaking telling you, helping you study. So that's on you. But stay. We're having fun here. But I need to crack open a cold one with the boys real quick. Because you know. That's how things work. Here we go. Let's get right back to the news. Okay. We're back. So this next unit section is called JFK, LBJ, and Civil Rights. And during this time period, you know, there's a lot of anti-poor things going on. Like, they were trying to get poor people back into jobs and all that kind of jazz. And help the minority. Well, not the minorities, but the people who can't help themselves. Which brings us into Medicare and Medicaid. So, Medicare is, it gives you, like, free medical, or not free, but it gives you access, to, medical help if you need it. So Medicare is if you're old, it's helping old people, and Medicaid is helping poor people, because neither of them can really help themselves if old people and poor people don't really have jobs, because old people can't really work or most of the time, and poor people can't get a job most of the time or have really poor jobs. So that's why the whole Medicare Medicaid thing was formed in the first place, because they needed to help out the poor people, and that's what JFK, LBJ, and all of them really were trying to do, which is good. Well, it was good at the time, at least. Let's take a look. Next is the Warren Commission, so we're gonna take a look at that. History.com, I love you so much. Okay. Let's take a look. Oh, okay. This is interesting then. So, what's going on here? The Warren Commission. This is around the time of JFK, and he was assassinated in 1963. And soon after that, Lyndon Johnson, LBJ, was, sworn into office, was actually right after, because, there's a lot of stuff going on. So no one really knew who shot John F. Kennedy until they traced it back to Lee Harvey Oswald, and they got him. And hold on a second. So the whole deal with them trying to catch the JFK's killer is that the whole thing is just called the Warren Commission for whatever that means. I think it's because the Chief Justice for that case was Earl Warren. So that's the whole thing that was going on there. So let's take a look next at the presidential election or presidential campaign of 1960. So, let me just look. Okay, so one thing I noticed with the study guide is it's not in order. So, like, for example, like, we just talked about John F. Kennedy's assassination. Now we're talking about how he got elected. So, okay, United States presidential election 1960. The winner was John F. Kennedy. And that was good because he ended up doing a lot of good things for America. Yeah. So that's really all we have to say about the presidential campaign of the 1960. But I believe there's one more thing though. It was one of the first times that they used television to help campaign for their campaign, which was pretty impressive because everyone had a TV at home, so they really got to see what the people were all about and all that good stuff. So now we're moving on. MLK protest policy. Now MLK, I'm assuming it's talking about Martin Luther King, and that makes sense because that was around this time period. So the whole movement at that time was for equality between African Americans and other minorities. I think it was mostly favored towards African Americans to have the same, equality as white people. So here's the thing. That whole process, it goes very slowly, but as you know today, hopefully you know today, please, you know that it ends up working in the end. They have a lot of protests, and the whole Martin Luther King protest, his policy was nonviolence. He, I can't remember the exact quote, but, his tactic was that they would tolerate until the whites just broke down and just let him in, and that ended up working in the end. Of course, there were other movements that also added, but I think Martin Luther King's, his movement made the biggest impact. So moving on, we have Brown versus the Board of Education. Now, I actually know a lot about this one because the big place where it took place was the actual high school I was going to go to, Little Rock High School. I used to live in Arkansas, by the way. I'm not telling you where I live now. You're probably going to put that in chat, though. But it doesn't care. I mean, I don't care. Brown v. Board of Education, it's the whole point of this is to desegregate schools. The whites have their school, the blacks have their school, and, the black school isn't as, high quality. It's probably, run down and all that. And the white school is probably, good old private school. But, the Brown v. Board of Education, I'm rushing through words. That's why I'm kind of slurring through things. But, it is just... What it does, the first school it has an effect on is Little Rock High, and they sent in the Little Rock 9, which were 9 kids that went in to, the first time ever to try to desegregate the schools. And I don't think a lot of them ended up staying in the schools, but I know most of them, or a couple of them, ended up staying in the schools, and, that really helped the whole movement thing. And it's kind of cool how it's made an impact on my life because in middle school, in 7th grade, we had to read a book on it because we had Arkansas history class for whatever reason. Why would you need to know about your state? I mean, really. Anyways, it's probably like a state law or something. All right, so that was the Brown v. Board of Vacation. Of vacation. So after this, we're talking about the. Let's get the. What is happening? Okay, we're good. We're talking about the 24th Amendment. Let's take a look-see. Oh my. Let's just look at exactly what it says. Sorry. So it looks like this is talking. The whole effect of this was that it was the poll tax. The whole effect was on the poll tax. Like if they didn't pay the poll tax before, I believe, according to this article here, that they were not allowed to vote in the election, and the 24th Amendment allowed them to. I think it also allowed anyone, regardless of race, vote. Of course, I don't think women could vote yet. Maybe. I don't know. Remember, this study guide's messed up. Well, I say messed up, but I mean, like, it's out of order. For example, we're about to talk about the Little Rock Nine again. Well, we're not going to, but that's the way this thing is structured. The 24th Amendment talked about poll tax, probably talks about some other stuff too, right to vote, all that good stuff. And we already talked about the Little Rock Nine and how they sent in the 9 kids to go into segregated school, and it ends up working pretty good. So yeah, we're gonna take another quick break because I'm kind of dying here. Wow, you guys have maintained 5 people watching, and that's pretty dang flippin' cool. Let's take a look at the chat. I know this chat's probably like what is going on here? Okay. So the chat's gone down to like President Lime and 44HY right now, and they're I don't know. 44HY is talking about something about Pepe and how he is a god of chaos, and President Lime is just confused, very confused. Apparently, I've been getting FaceTime calls, and if I look at my phone, I can guarantee you I'll have like 5 missed calls from Butterman 4. Oh, exactly 5 missed calls from this. Yes, beautiful. Oh my gosh. Okay, we have a group chat going on right now. In case you don't know, yeah, that's what's going on. So I'm just gonna bring it back over to this. No, not this page. This page right here. Have the thing over here. All right. So I'm going to take a quick little break where I'm cracking open a cold one with the boys. Sorry. Remember, go tell your friends about this stream, because we're studying for finals right here. What in tarnation? Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. She was looking kinda dumb with a finger and a thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead. Well, the years start coming and they don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming and they don't stop coming. Fed to the rules and I hit the ground running. Didn't make sense just to live for fun, to brain get smarts, but you had to get so much just. You missed a part. Okay, you know what? You know what? I'm taking the call right now. You know what? What do you want? What is it? Hello? I am not streaming currently. I have no idea what you're talking about. Goodbye, President Lime. Okay. We all good. So next, we're going to talk about the March on Washington. I believe this is one of the... Oh, wow. That was weird. Okay. March on Wash. Why does this do this? Why does it do this to me? Excuse me. Yeah, so it's another thing with yes, okay. March on Washington. It's where Martin Luther King came up with, or he gave his I Have a Dream speech. It was the one that went like, I have a dream that one day we'll all sit together at the table of brotherhood, and he really, what he meant was one day things were going to be different, and things that were set in stone today would just be in like crumbles, and later. And that later his tactics ended up working, and that was one of the biggest movements of that time. Really, was trying to get equality over to African Americans. And right now we haven't. People are calling me left and right. Okay, I'm gonna answer this just for the meme. What do you want? Yeah, what do you want? Okay, you have to hurry. I cannot do that at this time. I am studying for finals. Give me one good reason why I should, or I'm leaving. Okay. I am sorry. For some reason... Dang it, I don't know what he wanted me to click on. There's something he wants me to click on. He didn't put a Discord. Maybe he sent it to me. I don't have Discord open right now, man. Okay, we're gonna take another break. So let me finish this thing real quick. So Martin Luther King made a big movement, all of that stuff. And marching on to Washington, there was a lot of people there, and it was all for civil rights, equality. And he gave the I Have a Dream speech. So that's what we have for March on Washington. And I'm gonna open up this program that he wants me to do. I'm also gonna eat a piece of pizza while I'm doing it, cause yeah. So it's gonna be awkward silence, but just live through it. It's updating, of course. Just letting you know, you guys are not the only ones calling. I'm no longer answering any calls, okay? Okay, literally, I have 3 different people calling me at the same time right now. No! Stop it. Why? What is going on? What is happening? Okay, I swear, if this is something stupid, I'm going to kill him. What is this? What am I watching here, Nick? What is this? Why? Well, we're gonna get out of there. That was beautiful, though. I hate your username. Get it freaking out of here. There we go. Okay. Guys, I'm not answering any more calls. I can't. I gotta finish this. We're actually so freaking close. We have 1, 2, 3 pages. I thought this was gonna take like until midnight. You know what? It's only been an hour. Or I think so. I don't know. So, moving on. We have the sit-ins. So, during the time, it was unethical basically for a black person to go sit up at a bar. So, what they did was they got together in a group and they went down to a random restaurant / bar or whatever, and they just sat down. They didn't do anything. I think they may have ordered a drink or two. But they had guidelines that they followed. They weren't supposed to look at anyone. Okay, I'm not answering any freaking calls. I wish I hadn't opened Discord now. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. 1 second. Okay, there we go. Sorry. I mean, this is a stream. I can't do that. So, sit-ins. It's where they had strict guidelines they were supposed to follow. Yeah. And that made a big impact on the whole movement that they were trying to do with civil rights and such. Next, moving on, was the boycott. Well, one of the boycotts was the bus boycott, and the African American community at that time decided that they weren't going to use the buses to, make the point that the fact that they had to like go to the back of the bus and give up their seat for a white man, it was unethical to them. So these boycotts ended up working eventually, and that's all I have to say about that. Okay, moving on. We're getting pretty close to the units that I'm learning, or that I've just learned currently, which means we're getting close to the end, and means I don't have to look up as much stuff. Okay, so next unit, Vietnam and activism. So Vietnam War. Well, let's just go. So first, the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution. So during, dang, I have to look it up. I don't know where it was. Gulf of Tonkin. I just kind of look up where it is. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so North Vietnam. They're in this war with South Vietnam, and I think by this time already, America has joined South Vietnam in their efforts to defeat North Vietnam to claim back, their government. So, let me see here. Here's what goes on. President sends in a ship, and it's debatable. This topic is debatable because some people think he did it on purpose just to have an excuse to declare war, basically. But what happened was he sent in a ship, and it was right in the Gulf of Tonkin, which is next to North Vietnam. And if you have a boat right next to a country you're at war with, the only reason that you think your enemies there is to like either attack or spy. So might as well get the early advantage and shoot the ship down. So that's what they do. Shoot the ship down, and that angers America. We're like, oh no, I had no idea they were going to do that, but secretly our president probably knew. Yes, now I have an actual excuse to declare war. So we join South Vietnam and make the biggest mistake in all of American history. That was the Vietnam War. So after the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution. Oh no, sorry, not done with that. Gulf of Tonkin Resolution. Here's the biggest mistake that we made. Congress gives a free check to the president, meaning that they give like all the president can basically do whatever he wants now. He can send in troops, he can withdraw troops, he can he's the controller of the war. No longer Congress. Congress is just sitting back now like, okay, you do you. We'll agree with whatever you do because of the Gulf of Tonkin. This is another thing that is a mistake, and that leads us into this whole stupid Vietnam War. So yeah, that's what the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution did. So the difficulties the U.S. faced in Vietnam. So Vietnam was a horrible place. We had terrible amounts of human casualties there. It was devastating, and there was also disease, all that. And the soldiers that went in there were barely trained at all, which is another reason there's such a high casualty count. But a big thing here is that they broadcast the war into America, into the living room of a family of 5 that are just sitting down, maybe they have mashed potatoes for dinner or whatever, and all of a sudden, casualty count comes on TV, and they're all depressed now. I don't mean to laugh, but it sounds funny. Okay. Anyways, what really this does, though, or what does, when moving on, this is actually moving on to the credibility gap. So, America, the government, is trying to keep the people in favor of the war, you know, because that's what you want to do. You want your people to be in favor of the war you're fighting. But the casualty counts and the footage that comes on to the, you know, to the Americans' TVs doesn't really match up with what, you know, the government's really telling them. So, the whole idea of the credibility gap is that... Sorry, 1 second. The idea of the credibility gap is that the people don't trust the government, basically. Is what it is. The people are listening to what the government have to say until then they realize, holy crap, wait, they're not telling us the truth. We need to be more reliant upon what we know. And so yeah. That's like the credibility gap pushed into like the smallest form you can take it. This person has called me for like 15 times, so I'm just gonna answer it. Hello? Hello? What? Why? 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 I can't. Okay, well, the thing is, I'm studying for finals right now. So I can't, man. Okay, well, this is really awkward for all the people that don't know who I'm talking to. Or, like, you're not on speakerphone. Should I put you on speakerphone? No. Okay, you know what? We're just gonna... Can I look at it afterwards? Okay. Well, okay. I can't look at it on my computer, obviously, but I'll look at it on my phone and show you guys. But that's too much work. Alright, I gotta go. There's a stream going on. Apparently someone sent me a link, so I'm gonna... Everyone wants to be... Okay, wait, let's take a look. Why are you calling me? I do not want to talk to you right now, okay? This is not okay. Nikki Postal, no. Do not call me again. I need to get out of here. I need to leave. I'm going to answer you right, and I'm going to hang up. Because I don't want to do that right now. I'm looking for a link, so I can just get on with the stupid stream and study for finals. This is stupid. Oh no. Okay. We're clicking on the link he sent me. Here we go. Dag nabbit Blake Bishop, you need to stop calling me right now, okay? Okay. We're going to the link right now. You know I cannot show this on the stream. You know I cannot do that, okay? You're trying to create drama. Okay, sorry, I need to come back to America. I was in India. Sorry about that, guys. So, where were we? Yeah, we just finished up the credibility gap, which was the people not trusting the government because what the government was telling them and what they were seeing didn't match up. Okay, another thing, the big thing. This is like the biggest of all big things. The Tet Offensive. So North Vietnam planned an attack on South Vietnam, and they attacked basically all the major cities. This is not good. So let me tell you why it's not good. Well, first of all, you know, there's the problem with, you know, that puts an effect on them in the war. And actually, it was a military defeat for North Vietnam, but it was a technological victory for them because the people back in America look at this and it's definitely not matching up to what the government's telling them. So they know, oh my gosh, well, we just got attacked, and you know, the people in the government are saying, oh, we can see the light just ahead of the tunnel. But guess what? they get attacked. So how can that be true? You know, we're being attacked while this whole thing is happening. It just can't be happening. So that's the 10 defensive, and it makes the credibility gap even wider. So the people are looking at the government like, you know, I don't like you anymore. People need to stop FaceTime me. Oh my gosh. Just need to get a new phone number. Okay. So now we're gonna move on to the War Powers Act of 1973. And if it's what I think it is, then stop it. Get some help. Gosh dang it. Okay. People keep on calling me. It's triggering me. Let's take a look. War Power Act. Okay, this is exactly what I thought it was. So, this is basically the end to the Gulf of Tonkin resolution. So, it takes the powers away from the president, and it just basically, you know, puts them back in place with a couple more regulations. And that's why currently now we have a safer war policy and all that good jazz. And with that, we kind of end the Vietnam War. Of course, this was a really long war when we had just covered... excuse me. I covered that in a very short amount of time. But, Vietnam War. There you go. Pretty bad war. And, oh yeah, when the veterans came home from the Vietnam War, they were not accepted. Because while they're in Vietnam, you know, they have the reputation of literally, like, baby killers. So, people come back from Vietnam and they're like, oh, you baby killer. And really, the troops didn't have anything to do with it. It was just one general that made a bad call, and they ended up killing a whole freaking city. And that wasn't good. Which, I mean, it is pretty bad. So, that ends the Vietnam... Well, no. The Vietnam War ends like this. America says, no. This sucks. We're leaving. South Korea goes, oh, crap. North Korea goes, haha, you lose. Now it's just... I've been saying Korea, haven't I? I meant to say Vietnam. North Vietnam takes over South Vietnam. Now it's just Vietnam, but it's communist. Different. So that ends Vietnam War. And then we start... Or, well, this is going on at the same time. But activism. And, you know, you have all these people in college now, and they're wanting to make a change. So, you know, there are a bunch of hippies out there and stuff. But, a big movement that went on was Roe v. Wade. And this was on abortion. So, they were like pro-life and pro-choice things. This is still a really big debate today. But, so, really, what's going on is that at this time, they're debating whether abortion should be allowed. And, you know, so, there's two sides. One is pro-life, pro-choice, you know, and Roe v. Wade kind of, it really just widens the debate, really, because it gives states an option to choose for themselves, and they can either have, like, a kind of a strict option, a semi-strict option, or they just don't have any regulation on it. So really, Roe v. Wade it's made and is making a pretty big impact on the lives of Americans today and in that time. Okay, so this is kind of weird, but this proves my point that this study guide's kind of out of order. The domino theory, it was that communism would go stronger as these countries continued to collapse like dominoes. And Vietnam was one of those countries. This is why we went into the Vietnam War, was for containment. As you can see here, containment plays a huge role. Containment is just huge. So yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. I already told you about Vietnam veterans. They were treated horrible when they got back. No respect at all. Or they received no respect at all. Moving on to the... What in tarnation? People, stop texting me. I will not answer you. Oh my gosh. Okay. You know what? That's fine. We're just gonna move on. Watergate scandal. So President Nixon, I'm gonna give a really rundown version of this. President Nixon gets caught doing some stuff, and the stuff is snooping around in the opposite political parties' the records and seeing what their plan is, and he gets, I believe, he either resigns or is impeached. That's probably important, but I'm too lazy to look it up. But he's kicked out. He gets out of office, and so now we're gonna head over to the 26th Amendment, because I don't know what that crap is all about. Another thing. So, sorry, the people who are texting me are distracting me so freaking much. What are you doing? Okay, look at this. Look at this, guys. Are you ready? It's a lot of stuff. So, 26th Amendment was that. Here's the thing. The draft. The draft is the big thing, because during the Vietnam War, most of the people who were in the war were basically drafted. There were some volunteers, but because, a lot of Americans were against the war, they had to do draft. But the problem is that the problem with the whole draft scenario at that time was that you sign up for the draft at 18, but you can't vote until you're like 21 or 24, one of those two. So after this whole Vietnam War instance, they decided, what the heck, we'll just let them. If they are going into war at that age, they might as well be mature enough to vote at that age. So they make the 26th Amendment, which causes people at 21 or people at 18 to be able to vote, which is why nowadays that is still the case. And lastly, for this thing, I already talked about it with the rise of activism. A bunch of crazy college students are getting out there trying to make changes. So moving on, this is the next unit, so I'm actually going to take a quick break and check on my stream. It's probably down. Yeah, there's 4 people watching, which is still pretty impressive. Wow. Okay. Let's take a look-see. So the stream's been going on for about an hour and a half right now, which is, it's pretty long, but my other streams were still, pretty long. Let's just take a look at the comments. It's probably freaking... Yeah, okay. Freaking people. And there are people texting me and spamming me still, and it's pretty freaking annoying. But hey, that's okay. They're not gonna stop. Anyways, let me eat some pizza real quick. I'm not fat. I'm beautiful on the inside. Another awkward pause. I'm sorry. I'm streaming.
Sorry.
There's literally a sign on the door. All right. Let me drink the rest of this soda. Remember, I'm not fat. I'm beautiful on the inside. Should not have drank that whole thing. Okay, we gotta finish this up. So, here's what's going on. The next unit we're doing, and I believe it's the last unit. Yep, it is. It's a pretty big unit, though. The Modern Era. So we begin with General R. Ford's, or Gerald R. Ford's presidency. And what's going on with him is that here's the really big thing that you need to know about him. So what he does is pretty amazing. against, the whole people's opinion, what he does is he pardons Nixon. And that means that for that whole Watergate scandal thing, which is pretty big, he doesn't get punished for it at all. Which has caused a lot of controversy, but in the end, it makes sense why he did it. Because if you think about it, a former U.S. president being caught in scandal and put in jail or whatever that, maybe it might look weak to other countries. It's just bad news, really. So he made a good call in the end. Was really the thing. Of course, that cost him the re-election, but it was definitely worth it in the end because All right. So we're gonna move on to the OPEC, whatever that stands for. Dang it! As we get closer to this type of stuff, you start not seeing it in history.com. Why not? Let's just go to the OPEC website. That's a lot of tiny words. Just what does it stand for? As long as I know what OPEC stands for, I can probably let you guys know. Okay, yeah, it was on oil. So really, I'm just gonna summarize this up a bit. Our main consumer, we're the biggest consumer for oil out of all the countries in the world, and yet we're the smallest producer. So we have to handle our oil trade properly, and that's why we create this act, which kind of creates some embargoes and a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, that's all you really need to know about that I guess. So number 69 is what we're on right now, and it is Jimmy Carter's presidency. So his presidency is it's pretty okay. The reason he's elected, he's seen as an outsider from the government. And right now, with the whole credibility gap, that's what people want. And he's also favorable to the let me remember the word. It's for people who don't want the government involved. I believe it's conservative. I'm sorry if I'm getting that wrong, but I'm just going to not use that term because I don't know if I'm using it properly. But he favors that type of value that he's not going to it's like government deregulation basically. And but during his presidency something goes wrong, and that is the Iran hostage crisis. So what goes on with him is that they take 20 Americans hostage. I don't know the exact number. I think it's either 20 to 50 or whatever that number may be. And the whole reason was because Jimmy Carter was for human rights, all that stuff. And there was a leader that in the Iran country that got impeached, overthrown, and they were going to execute him, but he was also dying from cancer. So Jimmy Carter brought him into America to die peacefully. But Iranians didn't really want that to happen. So they came in and took a bunch of hostages. I believe none of them got hurt. Of course, it hurt their families and stuff. But it was only until Jimmy Carter's immediate release. Well, no. Immediately after he was released from his full term, was that was when the Iran hostages were released back into America, and that was just kind of like a punch in the face to Jimmy Carter. It cost him re-election, all that bad stuff, just because he wanted to help this poor guy out that was dying from cancer. Let's see what else we have here. So, the Persian Gulf War, and I'm actually surprised I have to look this up because I just learned about it. Persian Gulf War. Let's take a look-see. History.com. Yay! Fun. Let me take a quick look. So, what I do know about the war is that it ended very fast, and that was a reason why, hold on one sec. George H.W. Bush, was, he was a good president at the time. He was looked up to at the time. Sorry. Freaking people texting me still. It's annoying. So, yeah, George H.W. Bush, he's doing good with the people right now. I need a minute to recollect my thoughts. Hold on. I gotta check on the stream and stuff. We're almost done. I just drank a half a liter. No, well, if this is a 2-liter bottle, then I technically just drank a liter. Hatt, serving size, 12 fluid ounces. That's literally what I just drank. So we have a problem. I'm getting texts from people, and they're coming in 5 minutes later. So I know that it's so incredibly backed up that they've just been like copying, pasting spam, and it's just going on. Let me check the stream. It's probably a bit lower now, but I'm fine with that. We hit a pretty good high. Yeah, we're up 4, which is pretty good. We're doing pretty dang flipping good on this stream right now. We're not having a lot of messages though. I mean, that's fine. I don't really look at them anyways. It's just a conversation that's going on. Let's just restore the chat. Why not? Oh look, it's my voice. Serving size 12 fluid. Yeah, no, I hate my voice. Anyways, I guess we'll move back on over to the Persian Gulf War. So, what goes on here is that basically George H.W. Bush does a good job, and everyone likes him for it. And we're moving on to Bill Clinton's presidency. It's kind of neat because today, this makes an impact on us today because, Hillary Clinton just recently ran for president. And that's, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton's wife, So it's just impact on today's world, The closer you get to where you are in history, the cooler you begin to see the connections and all that. But during his presidency, he ends up, I believe he does resign because of what's it called? An affair with like a secretary thing. And everyone else is saying that they had an affair with him too, but there was no real proof. Well, there actually was some proof. I don't completely know. It turns out he was impeached for affair in office, all that stuff. No, I'm sorry. The reason he was impeached, he lied under oath, and that's, impeachable. He can get impeached for that kind of stuff. So, he gets impeached. But I think before that, we're just going to learn about the NAFTA real quick. I know about that. So, NAFTA stands for North American Free Trade Act. And what that does is that it frees up trade with Canada and Mexico, and it just eases tensions, all that kind of stuff. And there's Clinton's impeachment. Okay, another thing with the NAFTA, and actually leads us into the next thing, which is globalization. NAFTA helped us connect to people, in North America, and then we go on to do other things to help us really globalize. But we're starting to get more connected. Like, there's this interweb of, like, everyone's connected together in globalization, and it strengthens the economy, but also has some downsides. And it's kind of making the problem with it is that it makes the rich richer and the poor poor, which, is good for some countries and bad for some. And that's really all with globalization. This is an interesting one. Internet. So, as you can probably guess, with the internet came a bunch of technological, advances. Instead of working, like, at an office building all day where you had to take, like, mail and, like, write through it, respond, all that, you had to have, like, people to do that. You just really had to, all you have to do is like send an email. So it just adds a lot of convenience, but also adds the idea of globalization. Everyone's connected, and that's one of the things that has an effect on. Okay, so wow, we're skipping a bit. Well, no, we're not skipping any terms. We're skipping a bit in time. But moving on, we have September 11th, 2001. Now I was almost alive at this point. But what happened was, terrorists. I know everyone knows about 9/11 here in America. It was a bombing on the twin. No, not a bombing. It was a plane that crashed into Twin Towers, and a plane crashed into the Pentagon, and there were a couple other things that happened that day. But the whole idea was that it was mained from Osama bin Laden, and it was a terrorist attack, and that put some tension between us and that Asia country, Afghanistan, all that type of stuff. So yeah. Dang it! I want to enter your FaceTime so bad, but I'm on a stream. So yeah. Okay. So after we just covered 9/11, let's take a break and answer this one person that's FaceTiming right now. Welcome to the stream. Would you like to say anything on stream?
Yes.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second.
All right. Okay, you have 10 seconds. I'm sorry. We have to move on. Say hi.
I don't know. This is...
I'm sorry. We have to go. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, we're accepting callers right now. Hello, welcome to the stream. Don't say anything stupid.
So, how many texts do you have?
What?
How many texts do you have?
I'm getting texts from 5 minutes ago right now because they're spamming in so fast. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for the call. We'll see you next time on Mr. Hatt's stream.
Alright.
Anyone else want to call in? Now would be your time. Sorry, it's a bit too late for anyone else to call in. Moving on! Unless someone calls in like 5, 4, 3, 2... Well, sorry, you're too late. Oh well. You're gonna call in like 30 seconds and be like, oh well, I was in time. No, you weren't. Okay, moving on. Number 83. We're so close to being done. Number 83, the Patriot Act. Now this, it sounds all good and fine dandy, but it's really a violation of civil rights in some people's eyes. Because, we're thinking, fine, technically because you called in time, I'll let you answer. Hi, welcome to the stream.
Fuck off.
Alright, so, we're on the Patriot Act now. So it's a violation of civil rights because all these people, well, no, I always say all these people. It gives the government free right to snoop under people's noses and to find information about them if they want to. And it's a violation of civil rights in some people's eyes. And that adds a lot of controversy and conflict. That's all you need to know about that. The Great Recession, so it was kind of an effect earlier when I was alive, which is kind of another thing. It's kind of cool. Great Recession, it had a big effect on mortgage, I know, and a lot of people had to get out of homes. They were like, kicked out, and some people had early retirements because maybe house building people or constructors, whatever, they they lost their jobs and they had to go into early retirement. So we're on the last one, my friends. It is the conservative criticisms of Obama. So Obama, you probably know, if you're watching this, because you remember Obamacare and how there was, a bunch of crap about that. Well, Obama made this Obamacare thing where everyone had to have health care, and it was good for some people and pretty bad for other people. And that's all I have to say about that. Well, mi amigos, we finished the packet. Not how I planned to, as you can see. I didn't even fill in most of it, but I've gone over it in my notes. So, I mean, this is a pretty good stream, guys. I'm pretty proud of this. Okay, sorry, I'm looking at the comments. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of this. We've maintained more than 3 people this whole freaking time. And that's just freaking impressive on my part. Well, I hope you guys did enjoy this stream. It was a funny meme, I guess you could say. And we're gonna end the whole stream off with answering this one FaceTime call.
Oh,
Hi!
hey there!
Welcome to the stream.
Dude, I feel so loved on this stream. I just want to let you know, you should finish this stream so we can play Rainbow.
Okay. Well, I was just ending the stream actually, because you're about to hear me say on the stream.
Dude, the stream is like 30 seconds behind.
Yeah, you're about to hear me.
Actually, by 30 seconds, I mean about 3 minutes.
Yeah. So in that case, you'll probably hear me say in a minute. Well, we're gonna end the stream off by talking to this dude FaceTiming me.
Hey, that's me. I'm
Yeah.
that dude. That's
You're
crazy.
that guy. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Whoa.
Well, actually, this part's gonna be cut off.
And by the way, you did not maintain 3 people the entire time.
Yeah, I did.
No, it dropped to 0.
Yeah, I did. How do you know? How would you know if it dropped to 0? Because when you're watching, it goes up
Because
to
me
1.
and Blake were the only 2 people left on it, we both got off.
Well, every time I checked, it was 3 or more.
So, yeah. Wanna get on Discord?
Well, just a minute. Thanks for watching today's stream, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I might be doing another Mr. Hatt Studies for Final stream. This has been fun. It's been horrible. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. And we are going to end it off with an E flat. Until I see it on my stream. Here we go. Alright. Thanks for watching today's stream, guys. See you in the next one. How do I end this thing?